Wait, welcome to the Link Paper Review. Today, I'll be talking about UCCIX, the Irish-eXcellence Large Language Model. It was published May 2024, which is a year ago from time of recording. These are the authors. The UCCIX and UCC stands for University College of Cork in Cork, Ireland. So, what does this big model do? Well, we know that large language models are extremely powerful, but for this power, you need to have a lot of data and a lot of money to buy all the computers and pay for your researchers and everything. And then also, once you've trained the model, then you need to pay even more money to run the model. So that's expensive. And most languages don't have this amount of data or the other resources. Irish as a language has extremely limited resources. There are 80,000 native speakers and 2 million total speakers. And also, like most of those, almost all of those speakers speak English, and also, so the amount of data you can pull from is relatively limited. Previous work on expanding LLM capabilities for smaller languages still require 10 to the 11 tokens and an expensive resource cost, or they make LLMs that are not that large. So either you have a small LLM, which is very, very cheap, or a larger LLM, which is still relatively expensive. Our current LLMs, at the time that they wrote the paper, could speak passable Irish, but they lose their complex reasoning skills, and they lack the social and historical context that we would expect from, an Irish speaker. If you try this with current models, it's not quite true. They've gotten considerably smarter, but at the time of when they were coming up and writing this paper, that was definitely true. So, and here are the examples of what they want, the failures at the time. And you can see that while they seem to understand the question itself in Irish, and they can answer in competent Irish, they don't understand the reasoning or the logic in Irish. If you ask this question in English, they'd be able to answer perfectly. And the trained model does Irish correctly. So to make this happen for Irish, they started with a data source, compiling a few previous sources together. This is larger than previous works. And they removed a bunch of duplicates from between the sources so that didn't have extra data that was just taking up space for no reason. And here you can see the big corpuses they were taken from. I think notably, GA Wiki, probably Gaelic Wiki, has paired data translating from English to Irish, which is important. So here's their idea for training their new model is called continued pre-training. So pre-training is when you have a pre-trained model, and then you continue training it for your specific use case. In this case, it iteratively enhances Irish by first exposing it to Irish data with parallel Irish-English data. Basically, this means they're putting in the English and the Irish together, so it's easy for the model to establish a connection between Irish and English. Then they can feed the remaining monolingual Irish data, which is like 99% of the data, basically, to refine its abilities. Once you get to their part, that's a completed model fine-tuned for Irish, but they also did supervised instruction fine-tuning, which just makes the model better at following instructions instead of just like saying random things in Irish. So if you're pre-training, then you need to pick a model to start with that's already trained. And in this case, they picked Llama 2 13B, chosen as their foundation. The 13B stands for 13 billion. I think that's how many parameters are. They picked this because of low perplexity. Basically, the Llama 2 13B is very confident when it says its words. And it's not too big, so they could use a reasonable amount of computing resources, and it wouldn't require too much data to train. They added 10,000 Irish tokens to the original 32,000 tokens so that it can have tokens that are made just for Irish instead of English. So to evaluate the models, they created a new data set called Irish-QA. There's our 60 question-answer pairs that are just translated from MT Bench. So they machine translated these, and then they were verified and corrected by humans. MT Bench is used to evaluate things like reasoning for models. So following pretty much just, there's an English benchmark, we put it in Irish so we can test our model. And the results are the performance is better than all the other models, and it generates faster than the other models as well. So you can see its numbers are higher, which is good, because that means it's more accurate. And then here on the right side, you can see it is a little faster based on the tokenizer. So there are a few other things. It kind of forgets stuff about English. It gets better at significantly, moderately better at Irish, but it gets quite a lot worse at English. And doing the instruction following part makes it a little better at following instructions. Here are the links, and best part is, of course, you can just try it out to see if you like it. If you speak Irish, it probably makes a little more sense, but you can just give it the thing and it'll say something back for you. Fortunately, I don't speak Irish, so I guess if you do, you can tell me if this makes sense or not. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Talk in the comments if you think I missed something or missed out on something, or you found something interesting that's related. Thank you.